It's hoppity hop time. Welcome all to the October edition of the Mixed Media Mania Hop here on YouTube. Lots of amazing artists, inspiration and prizes on offer, and all the details of how to enter the hop and what amazing arty goodies are up for grabs are in the description below. And a couple of the prizes are only available to residents in the US, so if you are in the US, don't forget to tell us. But the majority of the prizes are open worldwide, but as I said, details of this it's all in the description, so go and have a look there. Now, a huge thank you to all of the amazing people giving away prizes. I mean, look at this amazing lineup. It's just fantastic. So do share your love with them and spread the word on social media too. That would be wonderful. Thank you. And it is a total thrill to be hopping with you again today. And thank you as well to Carissa and Didi for all their organising of this hop. But also a massive thank you to you as well for watching and taking part. And I love reading all of your comments. And I read every single one and I try to reply to all of them as well. And I'm so excited to see all of the amazing artists on the hop and what they've all come up with, because it's just so much fun to watch. So I hope you really enjoy it too. Now, I'm going to kick this off. This is my project for the hop and it's proving to be very resistant today. I can't resist letting you know that my project centres around resists. I'll try to stop with the bad wordplay. I'm not very good at it. Although resistance is futile. Oh dear. I just had to, didn't I? I'm sorry, guys. I am a massive nerd. Anyway, now that I've got that out of my system, I can talk you through what is going on. For my first resist, I just need some masks because I want to use a stencil, but I want to shape that stencil into a particular design. And it's really easy to do this with paper masks, so that's what I'm doing first. And if I just place that negative paper cutout that I've just made on my work paper, my surface, then add the stencil over the top, I can press my embossing ink pad through the stencil to get the shape that I want. Pretty simple, right? And you may have noticed this is a really dirty old ink pad. And it's actually a bonus for it being dirty because it means that I can see where the ink is and then just go back over any spots that I've missed. So that's quite handy. And sometimes being a messy artist is a bonus. But it works really well here because I'm using an opaque embossing powder. So if I was using something that I could see through, then I would use my cleaner ink pad. I have a cleaner ink pad, but for this one I'm going with the dirty one. And if you want to know more about the products that I'm using today, then they are all listed in the description as well. So I did this a couple more times with some different sized paper masks to get some more shaped embossing through that stencil onto my piece. But the resists, they don't end there because I'm going to use some adhesive film resist too. But this part of the video is harder as pretty much most of what I'm doing is now completely invisible to you. But I am doing something, honest, I'm not just waving my hands about. I mean, I wouldn't make you watch me just wave my hands about. That would be silly. Right, you can see that, can't you? I was doing something, I wasn't making it up. So 2 resists are down. Let's add some colour. This is the exciting bit. And for this I'm going to use some mermaid markers, and also I've got some similar brush pens from Kuretake as well. Now we actually have Elaine to thank for this video. Thank you, Elaine. A couple of weeks ago I asked my patrons what they might want as a hop video, what kind of techniques or ideas, you know, if there was anything that they could suggest for a video that they might want to see me make. And she suggested a resist with watercolour pens, and I think she might have been inspired by my resist video with the mermaid markers and gesso and various other bits and pieces. Is that right, Elaine? Now that video is here on my channel, so if you haven't seen it, I will put a link to it in the cards and also in the description. So add it to your watch list for when you've finished the hop, because the hop's way more important, so make sure you watch the hop first. Anyway, I thought it was a great idea, and so here it is. But rather than use any of the resists that I showed in that video, I thought I'd add a couple of more so that we've got some more techniques for our technique toolkit. And I really love using watercolours over resists, don't you? There's something really satisfying about watching an image or a mask just, you know, that shape just pop out from a blank canvas when you add the colour over the top. I'm using watercolour paper for this. It's a heavyweight one, so if you want to know what it is, do check the supply list in the description. And I've stuck it down to a wooden board with some masking tape, but I haven't stretched it or anything like that. But adding the colour, I mean, look, that is so magical. Now I'm going to take off my film masks, well, mainly because I'm just a bit too impatient to let this completely dry. I want to see how it looks. But I'll just remove some of the excess paint that's sitting on top of those masks because I don't want it to drip onto the piece when I lift them off. And also I'll move away some of the pooled water and colour as well. Then I can really carefully remove the film and we can see how they look. Well, that's worked way better than I was expecting it to. I thought the paint would get underneath just way more easily than it did. It's really worked well. And it has seeped in a couple of areas, but where the edge wasn't stuck to the paper as well as it might have been, but otherwise it looks pretty neat. I'm going to keep these masks and see if I can reuse them because I don't know if I can or not, but I'll check that out at some other point. Anyway, next thing I want to do is add this lovely bright yellow-green, then let the project dry completely before moving to my next layer. And for my next layer, I'm going to add some faux writing here and in the form of scribble writing. And for this, I'm just going to use a very ordinary ballpoint pen. It makes a lovely mark and it will work really well with my last layer. So that's why I'm using a ballpoint. But the pen I grabbed is leaving some of those inky bubbles. You know how ballpoint pens leave those little inky bubbles on the paper, and I don't want to risk smudging them, so I'm just going to blot the worst ones off with some spare paper. And then I can go in with some iridescent acrylic ink detail. And for this, I'm going to use the eyedropper to make my marks, but I want to control the amount of ink that goes on there, so I'm emptying out the dropper first and then just picking out small amounts of ink with it, just so that I don't flood my project with ink accidentally. And once that's dry, I can do the pen detail work. I do love brush pens, and if you want to know why and how I came to decide on using this particular one for this project, or where this design came from, then do pop over to my Patreon as I will be sharing that over there really soon. That heat embossing resist is still doing its job in many places, isn't it? And you can perhaps see what I mean here about how that black ballpoint pen scribble writing works well with this final layer, and it just kind of complements it rather than try to compete with it. So let's have a closer look, and you can see all of the textures from all of the layers and where the resists were and where I've added colour. And I hope you enjoyed watching all of those layers build. Thank you so much for watching. Here is the next video to watch in the hop, and have lots of fun hopping, and good luck in the giveaway.